Hello everybody, it's Fufu here, and today I am back with another Why You Should Use. Today we're going to be looking at the weird cucumber Pokemon Pyukumuku, but after you've watched this video, please go to John's channel, because there is a video there, isn't there, John?
Yes, there is. We are going to be talking about Vikavolt, a very cool Pokemon. I really love it. I'm excited to talk about it, but before we can get to that one, we gotta talk about this Pokemon Pyukumuku.
Design.
So the design is very simple, but I think it really works. I mean, it is a sea cucumber at the end of the day. There's not too much you can do with that, but I really love the color scheme, and I think that it's just a very, very well-designed Pokemon.
When we look at its dex entry, it says it can eject its eternal organs, which it uses to engulf its prey or battle enemies. I don't really know how to feel about the first part, and the second part is a pretty big lie, because it's not really the best when it comes to battling, but we'll get to that.
Typing and stats.
Pyukumuku is a pure water type. There's not too much to say other than it's very solid typing. It has few weaknesses, and yeah, it's just a water type, that's all.
When you look at its stats, you're definitely not too excited about the HP, attack, special attack, or even the speed, but the main thing that matters are the defenses anyways. It has 130 in both, which is really nice, as you will see when you look at its move pool. The HP at 55 isn't amazing, but at least it has some pretty good defenses.
Ability.
Pyukumuku gets its own signature ability in its out, and this is a very cool ability. When you are fainted by a direct attack, you will deal the same amount of damage to the opposing Pokemon as you had when you were knocked out. So this is really good at dissuading the opponent from attacking you. It means that they really have to think about it and chip away at your health before taking you out. And this can give you opportunities to set up things, do funny, tricksy things. So that is a very cool ability. It also means that your opponent has to worry about going for like strong electric and grass type attacks if you have a Pyukumuku on your team, because you could just throw it straight in there, and if it takes out your Pyukumuku, you could well take them out too, because it will deal all that damage. So it's a really cool ability for this Pokemon to have. Its hidden ability is Unaware, which is another very good ability for a defensive Pokemon, because it means that opposing Pokemon that like to set up won't be able to boost their damage output against Pyukumuku, again allowing it to get more attacks and things off. So that is really cool.
Moves.
The number one thing you're going to notice when it comes to notable moves is Pyukumuku gets 0 direct attacking moves. 0. That is ridiculous. I'm pretty angry with that Pokedex entry. I'm thinking this thing's going to slap things with its innards. It's going to be awesome. No. Instead, you got things like Recover, Baton Pass, Memento, Counter, Curse, and even Toxic we threw on here because, I mean, it's a great move. Everything gets it, but you kind of have to have it on Pyukumuku. But that's okay. You know, it makes this Pokemon really unique, and it's pretty cool. You know, you can have it as a Baton Passer, either just to gain momentum or just bring good stat boost to other Pokemon. Memento is a great move, and Z-Move Memento is a move that Sam loves very much. It's a fantastic thing. I'll let him get into that a little bit more. I actually like that it has Recover as well, because, you know, it's not just something that can't really attack and maybe you can whittle something down. At least it has some staying power, which is great. And so you kind of have like the option Memento or Recover. You also have Counter, so to go along with your ability that could really just take down an opponent if they did too much damage, you can use Counter and also just take them out that way if they do physical damage. Curse, Baton Pass could be great, and the final thing with Toxic, I mean, if you just want to Toxic Sell someone, why not?
Set idea.
So for this Pyukumuku set, we are going to give it the Darkinium Z, because we want that Z Memento. It's really, really very good in my opinion. I mean, I might be a little bit biased, but I think it's great. So it's going to be a very defensive set. We're going full physical defense. You can play around and go special defense if you want. Like, it just depends on what suits your team better. And the moves we've gone for, Recover's really important, because what this thing is going to be doing most of the time is just creating momentum. It's going to switch into something, take an attack, force a switch because they can't take the Pyukumuku out, and then Baton Pass itself so that you can keep the momentum and keep one step ahead of the opponent. So that's why those two first moves are there. You can switch in and then just keep recovering and keep the momentum there. Then we've got Memento, which is great. It harshly lowers the opponent's attack and special attack. It will knock out your Pyukumuku at the same time, but it means that whatever comes in next gets fully healed. So then you've got a fully healed Pokemon against a Pokemon that has -2 attack and -2 special attack, and you can do all sorts of things. Very good for helping set up Pokemon, very good for bringing walls back from the brink of death. It's just a very, very good move to have. Final move we're going to throw on there is Toxic, because just with Toxic and Recover, Pyukumuku is bulky enough to Toxic stall things, and it's just a good way of being able to not be so passive. So that is the set that I've come up with. There are plenty of other options. I have gone unaware on this set as well, just because I feel like against setup Pokemon, if you really need to get that Z Memento off, you can come in on a setup Pokemon, make sure that they can't take you out because you're unaware of their stat boost, Z Memento out, and get your threat back in at full health, can take a hit maybe, something like that. So I thought unaware was good here, but equally Innards Out is very good. So even though Pyukumuku doesn't have too many offensive options, its utility options and support options are vast. It can do lots of different things, which is really cool, and it means that this thing is actually very viable, which you wouldn't necessarily think if it couldn't deal out any damage. So yeah, there you go, that's Pyukumuku. And that's all that we have to say about that. Is there anything else you want to add, John?
I mean, there's a few other things that stand out to me. I mean, you could run, Curse, Baton Pass. Obviously, you don't want to just have Curse, because you're not going to have any attacking moves, but Curse, Baton Pass could be really nice. Obviously, I talked about Counter earlier. You could have a set based around Counter. There's a lot of moves I wish this Pokemon got, but it does still have a lot of, pretty helpful moves. You can definitely fit it on a team, and one thing, I know it's more of a niche format, but if you do play in the draft format, there are a lot of things you could definitely do. I mean, hey, if your opponent really wants to set up and sweep you and you have something like this, they have to be worried about Innards Out, Counter, and other things like that, Memento. So this thing could be pretty good to foil some plans, and it's definitely something I want to use.
Yeah, definitely. One last thing to mention as well is it does actually get dual screens, so it can be a screen setter and then Memento out into a setup mon again. So if you're playing some hyper offense, it can really support a team like that too. So yeah, that's everything for this week. I hope that you will now consider using Pyukumuku, even if at first you didn't think it was so good. I hope that we've tried to convince you otherwise. I think it's really cute. I got really hyped when I first saw its design, so there are plenty of reasons to use it. All that's left to be said is go and check out John's video before I do my outro, because that's a very important thing. I've been Fufu, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.